Never again. So this is an op-ed piece that I thought was really interesting and intriguing, and I wanted to make a video about it and kind of talk about it and give some credit where credit is due. Again, this was an op-ed piece talking about why the SEC should not have their hands in crypto. And in this op-ed, their second piece here, the author talks about some opportunities here to really reimagine and redesign what governance should be set in place for crypto here in the United States. And I guess the real question here we need to ask ourselves is, could this actually happen? Like, how could we move away from the SEC being the governing body over the U.S., or at least maybe have them be a part of it? But right now we think the SEC and CFTC are the biggest parts, but maybe another committee needs to be created. Maybe something like the Digital Assets Commission, right? As you can see here. Now, the author says there are glaring flaws in the current regulatory landscape. We know that, right? It's increasingly apparent that a dedicated commission, perhaps a Digital Assets Commission or DAC, is required to oversee this rapidly evolving industry to formulate nuanced regulatory guidelines that foster innovation while protecting investors. I think this would be fantastic. I think you keep the two governing agencies in the United States, the CFTC and the SEC, in the loop, keep them, as part of the process and part of the decision-making, but there needs to be something more nuanced, right? There needs to be something that is more geared toward digital asset and this new asset class. So the creation of this, I think, would tie together all the experts in various different fields to come together and create a solution. That's what we want, right? So I agree with the author here. Never again should it just be the SEC able to come down and hit crypto companies hard and basically destroy people's investments. Seriously, this is complete market manipulation. It's complete ridiculousness. Now, by combining deep knowledge of the tech and comprehensive understanding of the potential risks, the author says this commission could bridge the gap between innovation and regulation, which is what we need. This change would enable a more effective and responsive regulatory environment, allowing everybody that has a voice to be heard and allowing the crypto industry to thrive while still safeguarding the interest of investors and having regulations in place. Now let's talk about the Howey test, because the author goes in about this. Now the Howey test was established in 1946. It has long been the standard for determining whether an asset is considered a security or not under U.S. law. It is a legal framework established by the United States Supreme Court to determine if a transaction qualifies as an investment contract and thus falls under securities regulations. But let me just stop right here. Again, this was established in 1946, well before a lot of new technologies have been created. Most recently, the internet, and even more recently, crypto and blockchain are now here. This is a totally different world. Now, the test itself comprises of 4 criteria: investment of money, common enterprise, expectation of profits, and reliance on the efforts of others. Failing any criterion attempts an asset from being classified as a security. Now, here's the thing. Maybe this was so well written that it still needs to be abided by today. And if so, then, we need to make that apparent and make crypto companies abide by it. But this author argues that the Howey test is not suitable for digital assets in 2023, given the rapidly evolving nature of the crypto landscape and the diverse functionality of these assets. The test's origins in a time when traditional investments like stocks and bonds dominated the financial markets make it ill-equipped to address the complexities and nuances of digital assets. In response to the SEC lawsuit, Coinbase released the following video to showcase its attempts to follow regulatory guidance in the United States with no success. If you guys haven't seen this video, basically it just showcases how Coinbase worked very hard to try to get out in front of regulation with no help from the SEC. And now the SEC comes in, slaps them on the wrist, even while Coinbase was trying to make an effort, a lot of efforts, to try to get out ahead of this. Now, the company highlights the outdated nature of the Howey test as well and claims 1 million jobs are at risk due to the lack of clear regulatory guidance. One key limitation of the Howey test potentially lies in its focus on the expectation of profits, which does not always align with the motivations of those who engage in digital assets. Users could purchase and utilize cryptos or tokens for various reasons beyond profit making, which is interesting, right? Depends on the protocol. Additionally, the role of the efforts of others in the context of decentralized networks is often unclear, as these networks rely on the collected efforts of numerous individuals and entities, undermining the centralized control typically associated with securities. The Howey test also does not account for technological advances and innovative features that digital assets now possess. Concepts like smart contracts and decentralized finance and NFTs defy everything we ever put up against the Howey test. So that is an interesting kind of understanding of where we are, I think. And I agree. The author says never again should the SEC single-handedly touch crypto. I think we need more than one governing body. We need the CFTC. We need the SEC. But perhaps we need a new commission to come in, and all these parties work together to create new rules and regulations, new guidance on this asset class, and make it its own. Make it its own asset class with its own rules, because it should be. It's nuanced. It's totally different than anything else we've seen. And the technology, we already know, is here to stay. Everything needs to be reimagined for it, and it's going to change our lives for the better. So let's just do it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Appreciate you guys. Bye.